Welcome to another Maz Play video. This is MazMojito, and today we're going to be picking up where we left off with Aquatico. Let's get to it. Alright guys, where we last left off, we were just basically getting our infrastructure all set up. We got a couple power plants down here. We got some pipelines taking our fuel, our power supply to the different buildings here. And we're going to continue to connect up our service pipes here. That's what you see with the blue lines. I got a couple service pipes already laid out. And as you can see, they stretch directly to the power plants. And then we of course link all these power plants up together so that we can share the power that comes out from them as far as the output. So infrastructure is very important here. You definitely want to lay out your feed tubes, if you will, for lack of better words. But basically, yeah, these are pipelines that are coming from these oil rigs, if you will, or power producing facilities. Now, the good thing about these pipelines is that they do bend and jump over certain things that are maybe lower on the floor. So you can really lay them out however way you choose. But the key point is to, at least once you get multiple power plants down, link them all together and then get that main pipeline out to the places that need that power source. So zooming out here, I'm just taking a look at how we're looking. We do have a habitat down. We got a couple other buildings down, which is pretty much was following along with some of the tutorial tips. But at the same time, we're keeping an eye on our numbers, our resource numbers, our population numbers, and making sure that we're constantly doing research to unlock new technology and new buildings that we can build. So we're going to drop another fuel refinery here. We already got one now, but just going to double our output here. Fast forwarding the time a bit so that our drones quickly build this station. And then we're going to move on, just kind of keep laying out our base as long as we have the resources to pay for everything that we're putting down. All right, we got some drones coming in. Those are very important to your base building because they really pretty much do all your work for building any of the new buildings that you want to lay down. And you need a lot of drones, especially if you have multiple constructions going on. So whenever that message pops up, definitely pick yes, unless you're having a hard time keeping them serviced. So now that we have that fuel refinery completed, we're just gonna make sure it's connected somehow to the main pipeline, which it looks like it is. In the upper right part, I do see a line going out to the main pipeline, so it looks like we have a connection there. And if we didn't have power, we wouldn't see any kind of animation where the buildings are pumping up and down. So we're good there. Always want to select your buildings and optimize them. If there are some upgrades available and you can afford to do it, definitely take them, because that'll just make your production that much more efficient. Okay, so just gonna take a quick look at the city so far, looking for any kind of major faults or red flags. The oil refinery that we just put down there looks like it's doing its job. I don't see too many other upgrades or buildings pending upgrades. So I'm just going to click through here. If there are some opportunities to do some upgrades, I will take them. But all in all, the upgrades are all grayed out for this one. This one has a experiment upgrade available. I don't know if I can take that or not, but all the other upgrades are grayed out. This one has a couple upgrades available that I can take. Production boost for our tidal turbine, which drives our power production. That's one of the ways we're getting power. And I think we'll go ahead and put a couple more of these turbines down just to give us some more redundancy and some more backup energy sources for our buildings. We're going to be throwing a lot of buildings down here. We definitely need to have the power to support them. So just as I said earlier, drones are very important to this game. So you definitely want to make sure that your drone facility is operating at maximum efficiency, and you definitely want to make sure you have enough oil coming in to drive the fuel flow for your different buildings. So we're going to go ahead and put another power producing building here called an oil platform, and we'll just get that built up real quick by our drones. There we go. So we already have a red indicator saying that this is not connected to a power source, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that. Connect it to the nearest pipeline. There we go. So now that is connected to the nearest pipeline, so that is getting some power there. And go ahead and do that upgrade too for that building. Now, as you can see, as I click on the different oil platform buildings, they have a radius around them of what they're supplying power to. Some of these buildings get bonuses. If you put same type buildings next to each other, you'll get some extra production bonuses. So that's just something to keep in mind if you have the space to go ahead and put some of those buildings side by side. But you want to be keeping an eye on the map to make sure that you're putting your buildings in the right zones. So oil fields obviously is what's going to be needed for these oil platforms. So the fuel refinery has a couple level 2 upgrades available. I'm gonna go ahead and knock those out while I have the resources. And this should make those buildings a lot more efficient and probably take less upkeep to maintain and keep running, so they won't eat through my power and other resources. Okay, so coming back to our drone factory, apologies if I called it an oil platform, but this is in fact a drone factory. And like I said earlier, drones are very important because they are your workforce and they are your workers in this game. So if you don't have enough workers with any town management game, you're just not going to get buildings built and supplies are just not going to flow. So we're going to put those guys to work. And meanwhile, we'll start a new construction here of a sponge collector. That's almost kind of like a farm or a gatherer's hut. Is there those people, the robots and drones that work there, will go out and search the seabed for edible food, if you will. Sponges are a type of, I guess, food currency here in the game. Now, we don't have a very high population right now, but as we build more buildings and build more houses, we're going to get a really big population. and that's going to drive us to have a need for more food. As always, we're going to keep on top of our research. Majority of the first half of the research I've completed. Now the other ones are, some require 6 days, some require 9 days, some 7. So we just want to keep that moving along and make sure that we can unlock as many different buildings as we can.
See, Mayor, your colony has been doing well, and it's probably time to start introducing more variety in the food your citizens consume. A healthy populace is a productive populace, as the marketing slogan goes. And to keep them healthy, they can't rely on a single source of low-grade food. You need more food variety.
Okay, so what he said. Since we built a sponge collecting factory, we immediately got prompted with, hey, you can also build farms. Yes, you can. You can build different kinds of undersea farms, whether you're growing sponges or you're growing other sea floor based food resources. That's what you can. That's how you can feed your people in this game. Alright, so now that we have our sponge collector kind of gathering hunt and introduction to farm, since we unlocked it in the researching, we're now going to get our fisherman's hub built, which is going to allow some of our workers to put on some underwater scuba suits and go hunting for the various fish types here. That's going to give us that variety that we're looking for. We'll have the protein from the fish, and then we'll have the underwater plant life, sponges and invertebrate type life that we can farm and grow and eat. So as you look around, I'm just selecting a couple of locations to start harvesting some sponges, and our team will go out and start collecting those resources. So we got quite a bit of things researched already, but there's still quite a bit more that we need to unlock. Underwater fishing was the last thing we unlocked, and that's why I put the building down. So now we want to, looks like our food level is low, so that means that we definitely gotta up our game in not only the fishing but the sponge harvesting, and hurry up and start putting some sea farms down. A lot of these town management games have little additional town rules and stuff that you can set up and policies. This game is no different. So as you can see, there was a little mini menu where you can make some decisions on some certain policies that you want to enact on your people, and whether it's rationing food or some other policy, you can definitely do that in this game. As you level up, you will be able to put more policies out there, but to start off, you only get maybe 1 or 2 policy slots. So we're now working on our first underwater farm, which is basically you drag out a square similar to most other town management type buildings. You drag out the size of your farm, and then once you let go, your people will pretty much take over and do the rest. So I'm just looking for a really good spot to set up a farm where I can still connect it to give it some power if it needs power, but yet it's not too far away from my base so that they can supply our folks with food. And looking around, you can see quite a bit of sponges around here that you can really harvest up. Some of these buildings you'll find out they'll have like little white shaded areas. You have to have a depot next to them. That's the only way you'll be able to unlock those resources. And of course, the depot can only be built where it's not red as far as placement. So we want to get it kind of close, but close to the resources, but not too far away from the base, because you do have to have people in scuba suits and maybe 1 or 2 drones to build it, to go from your main base over to build the depot. So we'll just pop one right there. Some drones will come over and build it, and then we'll have some people in scuba suits come over and actually scavenge the 2 buildings that I found. Okay, so we got our underwater farm built. Those are the resources that will be, I guess, growing on the field, which was seaweed, and sea cucumber. So the drone is at work right now, building that underwater farm, and it's going to take a while to go back and forth and fill out that whole block of area that I laid out to be designated as farm area. We have a couple upgrades available, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of those while I have the resources. One of the first things that you're gonna run out of pretty quick is plastics, and you also going to run out of scrap metal pretty quick. So you definitely want to get those outposts going and get your folks out exploring and getting some of those hidden cash. Usually those are from failed outposts, and there's always some scavenge left behind that they can go and pick up. So as you can see from the drop ship, that's a supply ship. It just came in, it dropped off some sponges, and actually went to my sponge warehouse, picked up the sponges, and then went up to the habitat and basically transitioned or transported the sponges down to my habitat so the people have the food to eat. But for now, I'm going to continue to do all my upgrades and make sure I'm good to go. Okay, we have 5 more depot resource spots that we located, but again, we have to put some supply depots out there pretty far away from the base but close enough to the new resources. This way we can get whatever is left behind from those usually failed sites of other structures. But it does take a while for the drones to get over there and for our scuba suit wearing people to get over there and help do the harvesting. Because the drones will build, but they will not go over and harvest. That's what you need the people to do.
Good day, Sea Mayor. You seem to have a firm grasp on handling food requirements of your citizens, so it's time to start thinking in advance. Your citizens, besides food naturally, also require some basic goods. They will start looking and then demanding to have those needs met. Clothes, furniture, and decoration are what they are after. Keep in mind, though, as is the case with food, that your citizens will be content with just one of the 3 first. But as time goes on, they will also want more variety. If you don't meet their demands, they will slowly but surely start leaving for other colonies. Keep an eye out on what your citizens think of the supply of basic goods by hovering the cursor over the basic goods status.
So as the narrator stated, this is a survival colony builder game, and if you do not keep the colonists happy, they will leave. So you basically have to stay on top of making sure they're fed, make sure they have power, making sure they have housing, and making sure they have some entertainment buildings laid out after you get all the housing situation straightened out. These habitats are not the biggest, but you can at least build at least 5 to, anywhere from 5 to 10 houses in them. I will say if you do 5, then you can build a lot more supply and entertainment type buildings in that pod. But if you want to go more houses than supply buildings or entertainment buildings, then you're probably only going to be limited to 10 houses in a pod, and then maybe 2 large entertainment buildings.
Great work, Sea Mayor. Your colony is progressing nicely. It's time to start new phase. I'm not sure what intel HQ shared with you, but I cannot let you work in the dark. This colony that you're building, this is not what the Atlantis Project is about. The real Atlantis Project is being set up in a remote region, and your colony, much like the others, will provide the resources, the tech, and the testing needed.
The Atlantis Project. A massive undertaking, unrivaled in scale in the entire human history. We used to dream about terraforming other planets, but Nimrod forced our hand. We'll use our knowledge and skills to create the largest, closed, self-sustainable ecosystem deep below on the ocean floor.
HQ hopes and research would suggest that such a large area, although enclosed, will still be more inviting and easier on the residents' minds than the colonies we've built so far, like yours here. You've done a tremendous job, Sea Mayor, but we can't rely on it. The sheer scale of the Atlantis Project requires time and resources, which is where you come in. The success of the Atlantis Project, and one could say the future of the entire human race, will depend on the resources you produce and the technology you develop. Build the expedition house to enter the next phase. We're counting on you.
Alright, so as you can see, there's some plans to build a Project Atlantis underwater station or factory or whatever it is. But as you can see, a lot of this area is pretty deep and pretty abandoned. You can see kind of remnants of freeways and buildings, but this is post-apocalyptic, so over time the sea levels rose and swallowed up pretty much all of the old world buildings and cities. So this is slowly being built. We're going to speed up time a little bit, see if we can speed that up. And then it'll be on to the next building to try to make our colonists happy. We may even put some nice decorations down too to cheer them up. Okay, so the research is coming along really good. I've unlocked quite a few buildings, and there's still plenty more buildings to go as far as unlocking. The small dome is coming together, building some support buildings in there. Eventually we'll be able to unlock the large dome, which should give me a lot more space to put more houses and more entertainment type buildings in there. As you play, you will get like a trolley system where you can connect it to habitat zones, 2 or 3 habitat zones. So maybe you can have one zone dedicated to housing, and then one habitat maybe dedicated to just entertainment and commerce. So it just really depends on how you like to play city builders, but I try to like to mix and match, make sure that my people have entertainment and supplies close to them rather than far away that they have to take a trolley to it. Okay, so we finally got our clothes shop finished up. We have a second drone facility built, so they're side by side, and we're gonna go ahead and pump points into upgrading those. But all in all, our city is coming together. We got power, we got housing, we got food coming in, so everything is headed towards the right direction. So with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep playing a little bit more, try to flesh out this city. But this is probably going to be a good point where we put a bookmark in the video and come back and see how far we can take this colony under the ocean. So hope you are enjoying this series. It's a pretty fun city builder with a different environment underwater. So as usual, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. And we will see you in the next video.